Okay, let's finish some golf clubs for our friends in West Virginia. Let's do the finishing. Welcome to part 3 of Let's Build a Golf Club. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Now, what we got to do is we got 6 clubs. We got to finish the ferrules. And then we're gonna cut them to length, and we're gonna put the grips on. We're gonna talk about it all the way through. So I'm gonna move you over to the place where I do the ferrule finishing, and we'll get right to it. All right, welcome back. We're gonna do the ferrule finishing, and what we had to do first, I go off camera, is we let our glue dry. See that glue? See how hard that is? That way we know it's cured, it's ready to go. And use it anytime when we're done with all the other stuff. So what we've done is I've put a piece of tape in here, and normally you only have to do that with the graphite shafts, but I like keeping it same pace, same everything, so I do it with this. I'm using a 1x42 blue ferrule belt so as to prevent cutting into the shaft, and you'll see what we're doing. Again, just like in everything else, we spin into the rotation of the belt, and we just are taking off enough to make it so that the ferrule is smooth or even with the actual outside of the hosel. Then we'll do some more finishing from there. So we're going to hear some noise. I'm going to turn on my dust collector, and then you're going to see how we do this. So all it took was just a little bit. I've got a couple more here that I want to do. And if you notice, it's not real fast. It's just enough to, and you can feel it. And just like right through here, this is where you're looking. And that's what you want it to feel like. You're saying, Jim, well, putting that tape on there is kind of a waste of time, particularly on steel, and I'd say you are absolutely correct. But it's just a system I've gotten into, and it allows me to be a little smoother. All right, I had a little extra on that, so I had to flick it off with a knife. Very good. And the last one. Got a little extra on that too. I get that with a knife. Okay, what I stepped off camera to do is there was a little bit extra on the back, and sometimes that just happens. And what I use is a knife, because it's a pretty hard metal, and I just lightly scrape it until it comes off. Now there's other ways to do it. You can use acetone. You could use, some people have tried hard wood. That didn't work good for me. And you just get a little scraping, and that's all you need to do to get it off, because you really don't want to scratch this stuff, because it's a chrome and it stays scratched forever. But you just want to get it so you're just peeling it off. All right, next we're going to apply some acetone and make this thing shiny. So hang on for a minute again. Okay, so what I've done is I've went and got some more of my paper towel that's in 2-inch squares, and I've got it really moist with acetone. Acetone is what really molds the ferrules. It's really quite the club maker's chemical. What you do is you just go cross hatching. You just wipe it back and forth, just in 90 degrees from how you were turning the ferrule. See, I'm going this way when the ferrule was turning that way. Everything is cross-hatched. Everything is cross-hatched. That way it maintains a smooth appearance always. And if you've got it folded over, you see how it's leaving a little bit of blue on there? And that's just you wiping off some of it to make it smoothed out. Now you don't want to get a whole bunch on there, but you normally get about about three on this side, and you get about 3 on that side. And that's what it's working out since I've got 6, so that should work out pretty good. And my last one. Okay, and most people would stop right there, but I'm a ferrule freak, so We're going to do one more thing, and I'll have to move you for that one as well. So hold tight. All right, what you've got here is the Glanzwatch wheel. And what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to polish the ferrules one last time before we go on to the measuring. What this is just a nice fluffy wheel that I have with the Glanzwatch. I always like putting a little extra on before I go. Now what you really should be doing is you apply this the night before so it gets in time to actually dry onto the finishing wheel. I already had some on, so I'm just applying another layer of it. And you'll get to see me, again, I'm turning into it, and we'll hopefully put a good polish on it. So stay tuned with that. Alright, so that was just turning the ferrules. One last thing to do and then we're done with the ferrules. Be right back. Last part is, like anything else, when you put on wax, you got to take it off. So in the same cross-hatching method, you wipe it going 90 degrees of where you were wiping. You do it just like that. See how nice and shiny that comes out? I do like the blue. I like the colored ferrules. Traditionally, what you get is black ferrules, sometimes black with chrome, sometimes white. Now this company offers multiple colors. Fortunately, not with collars yet, but they multiple colors, and you can get lime green, regular green, blue, orange, gray, red, whatever you want. All right, so there was finishing the ferrule. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure and we're going to cut and we're going to grip. So stand by. Okay, this is real short and sweet. I have my measuring tool here, and I'm just confirming what the lengths are prior to going to cut them. Okay, so it was a real quick measure. Now we're going to cut them. Okay, there's not much to cutting. I know I'm in the dark, but I wonder if I can change that. A little bit better. We'll see. Okay, cutting wheel. We talked about cutting before, and you can use a tubing cutter on steel. You can use a hacksaw on steel, although it doesn't look real good, or you can use a cutting wheel like we have. So I'm going to turn on the air, make sure that it gets all pulled down, and we're going to cut these real quick. Now the first one to answer what I just did wrong, I'll send them a golf koozie on me. So send me an email or down in the comment section below and tell me what I just did wrong. Now, when you always cut these things, you always get a rough edge. So you want to sand it. You sand the edges off and make it a nice clean appearance. That way it doesn't cut through the grips when you go to put them on. So I'm just going to shave those off and then we'll get back to gripping. All right, we're back into the gripping mode. And what we have to do is make a standard grip. And what you do is you have to compare the outer diameter of the shaft with the inner diameter of the grip. And if they match, you're going to end up with being whatever the standard of that is for that. So if you have a lady's grip and the outside is 560 and the inside is 560, you have a standard lady's grip. For guys, if it's outside of 600, inside of 600, standard guy's grip, so on. Now if you want to make it bigger, you just put a couple layers of tape. Now normally between 2 and 3 layers gets you to a mid, between 3 and 4 can get you into a jumbo. If you're going more than that, then you might want to consider going up the size in the grip and then worry about adding more tape. So what we like to do here is we measure, we put the grip cap at the end, and I get to the little line at the end of this, and it gives me a mark on where to put my tape. And I just use that line, and I go no further. Nice and smooth. I wrap it over, slide it down, wrap it over, and you can do two methods. You can do the twist method, or you can do the fold method. It also helps to have a speed clamp, although not completely necessary. Some of the nicer ones out there use air. So you really don't even have to do much anything for that. Now, that's a little too much, and when you get a little too much, you cut it off. And the last one. All right, putting the grips on. Have my solvent in a jug. I always put my thumb over the end cap. Get you enough to fill up the inside of it. Shake it around. Let her drain out. And at the end, you're going to put your finger over the end. You're going to kind of pinch the top. You're going to keep pushing until you get to till you feel the butt of the grip seating. Then you check for alignment. What I like doing is, has a little tick line here. Use the grip and it aims right to the bottom of the club. Stamp it in place. Give it a real quick look. Grip. So far, no adjustments are required. All right, different grips. You have different grips for different environments. If you're in a really hot environment, you may want that one that is either very sticky or very aggressive in its texture, much like this one is. And that way, you don't lose the grip of the club when you're out there. In not so sticky conditions, you could use just the opposite. If you have big hands, you want to make sure you get the right size grip, because that can be a killer. The right size is always the big deal. If you want to know more about the gripping, I've got more videos on that on the YouTube channel. All right, last one. And again, if you have any questions about this, just post them below. Again. Okay, the last thing I like to do is I like to wipe them down. I just dump it in here and I wipe it down, and that gets all the extra grime and whatever else, and it actually kind of makes them a little tackier. So, not too bad, right? Got a nice blue grip. Thank you, Pure Grip. Nice blue ferrule that matches on a good Washon club using a KBS Tour shaft. Now we'll do the last bit of the finishing and we'll get done with these sets. So, hold on again. Okay, well, what you saw was we put on the grips, and what I did while I was off camera, I put the stickers on, and then I made sure that the lofts and the lies were correct using my Mitchell machine, and I did some weighing to make sure that they were consistent. Turns out that these came out a little more consistent than the first set that I built, so I'm really happy with that. One of the couple of things when I was measuring, I found a couple of things I didn't like. You see these two behind me? Those are the two I didn't like. Because if it's not right, well, it's not right. And it doesn't go out. So I fixed them the way I want them. Got them measured the way I like them. And they're just now, I had to take the heads off and put them back on. So now they're drying again. So it's a little delay, but I'd much rather have that and have them right than go out and be wrong. So what we're going to do is this my little segment of, we'll call it the cleanup. What I do is on every repair that I do, and every build that I do, it gets a little bit of wax on it. And that's just a little bit of a protectant. You know, just like it is on a car, it doesn't last very long, but it's a good start. And that way I get to talk to you a little bit about the equipment that I used. Okay. So as I'm putting it on, what you saw was, we'll start with the heads. Tom Washon, who is in Colorado, excellent designer. I would actually have to call him an excellent friend. Very much for the custom club making. He has had opportunities to go to bigger and better avenues and didn't. And I think that he has really done well in the payoff. Has bunches of first model designs, and he also has some first one to be on the hot list that wasn't an OEM. So a lot of good things are coming out of here. So one of the things when people come into the shop, they go, "Oh, what's that look like?" Well, it doesn't look like anything because it's all original design. In fact, in a couple of cases, I found out that some of his designs are actually being, you know, slightly looking like the OEMs are slightly looking like his. So this one is a forged club. Forged is usually synonymous with the better player. Not necessarily true anymore because of the technology that you can use in order to make irons. Bigger cavities, bigger cavity backs. The pocket cavities allow the ball to get up in the air, even if it's stronger. However, the 575, which is a forged and milled, is for the better player. Has a little offset, it's a little smaller, and has a great feel. Can have a lot of control with it, but you got to be a pretty good ball striker too. All right, next up, another guy I would consider a friend, although like I haven't. It's Kim Braley Shafts, KBS Shafts. Again, they're in Colorado as well. The KBS Tour is the flagship of their stock, and it has been very, very consistent. It has been very, very reliable. And he has, for those who want a little bit lighter, he now has the Tour 90 and the C-Taper Light. Now, like anything else, a lighter shaft typically will produce a higher ball flight. But he also has others that will produce lower ball flights, like the C-Tapers and some others. He has a great family of shafts now. Definitely standing shoulder to shoulder with all the big boys, and not bad for just popping right up a few years ago. And he's all over it now with bunches of wins on all the tours. What can you say? It's consistent, it works, it feels great, and it doesn't cost you a bunch. It's a little bit more, but bang for the buck, it's the best deal out there. That's the reason why it's in our shop. Lastly, Pure Grips. What can you say? 100% rubber grip. These guys are a bunch of great guys. If you wanted to personalize your grip and have your name into here, they can do that. If you want a logo, you can do that. I got this with that, my little golf ball there with just a little bit of a chevron put on all my fitting grips, so I know which ones are mine. And some of the demo grips, so I know which ones are mine. So they can do you right. They have 3 distinct different styles, typically the wrap, the velvet style, and this DTX, which is unique to themselves. They also have a big dog putter grip. It's a bigger, weightier type grip, all rubber, all guaranteed to last. So give them a check out. All right, so you got puregrips.com, kbs.com, washongolf.com, and give them a check out. If you really want to know a little bit more, ask me a question. I'd be more than happy to answer you. For those of you looking for a fitting and you're in the area, in the Ohio area, schedule a fitting with me. We'll take care of you. And if you really liked what you saw, you learned a little bit about putting together a club, like the video if you would. And if you do, if you want to learn more, subscribe. You can learn a lot more when we're going down. I'm going to do some more product reviews instead of techniques, so we can get more golfers involved. And our next one should be on putters. So if you want to learn about putters from a golfer's aspect, stay tuned. Subscribe so that you know when I put it out, it's out there. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's see those scores go low.